Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips that will make decluttering your sentimental items a tiny bit easier. If you're someone who always feels guilty about giving away something or donating something because you've spent a lot of money on it, or someone's given you that item and that item is attached with a memory of not appreciating that person when you're giving that thing away, then these 5 tips will definitely help you out. Before we begin, hi, my name is Sital. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, then I talk about minimalism, productivity, and I do some lifestyle videos on this channel. And if that's something that might interest you, then please subscribe below. Also, if you hit the notification button, you will get notified every time I post a video. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get on with today's video. Tip number 1 is declutter the non-sentimental items first. If you followed my last video on the 30-day minimalism challenge, which I will link up above here, none of the steps or the days that I go through are decluttering sentimental items, because sentimental items is not something that we should tackle right away. Instead, when you come to something that you think, I cannot give this away because I've spent a lot of money on it, or you feel guilty because someone you love has given that to you as a gift and it's not really your style, so you don't want to give it away because it's related to that person giving it to you out of love, or you don't want to give it away because you also know that not just that it's given to you by someone you love, but it's also expensive. It's okay to feel guilty, because feeling guilty is not easy. But if in any case that you do feel guilty and it's so hard to think about how to get rid of an item, then that item is definitely a sentimental item. So instead of forcing yourself to get rid of that item or donate it, sell it, or whatever it is, try and put this item in a separate box which is labeled later. Tackle it at a later time. Come back to it later. Give yourself at least 3 to 6 months to come back at it later and think about it later. Because in this 3 to 6 months, now you've already started your journey into minimalism, of course. So by this time, by 3 to 6 months, I'm assuming that you would have got rid of a lot of things already, and you've already started to appreciate the journey of minimalism and what minimalism feels like to you. When you come back to it, you will feel a whole lot different, because now you appreciate minimalism and you've started looking at these items as just merely items, not something that has to be attached to a sentiment anymore, and it will be easier for you to get rid of that item. Tip number 2 is remember that having a lot means keeping no memory at all. If you are attaching an item, a personal item, along with a memory of someone who's passed on or passed away, then this tip's definitely going to help you out. So when my dad passed away when I was really young, my mom only kept 3 of his items. Initially, she kept a lot more, but slowly as time went by and we moved houses, she only kept 3 items. It was his wallet, his watch, and his sunglasses. Now, these items were kept in a drawer in our living room, which we would access occasionally. However, because there were only just 3 items, every time I went to the drawer to open the drawer to get something or to put something in there, when I came across his sunglasses, his wallet, and his watch, I would take a minute, I would touch these items, open the wallet and feel it, and think about how, think about the lovely memories that I had when my dad opened his wallet, or when he wore his sunnies, and how his watch was his signature look, and he always wore that same watch every time, and the sunglasses, the wallet, these are the things that he cared about a lot, and these are the things that my mom decided to keep. It allowed me to appreciate the memory of having him around and thinking about the good memories that we had with our dad. As opposed to having so many of his items around, I would not have been able to grab any single item and to think about the memory, because I would just have his things just lying all over the place and it wouldn't be kept properly. But this way, when it was kept in such a manner, it was as if these items carried so much significance that we could not, and it's still there until today. And by doing it this way, the memory of my dad lives forever. We've made sort of like an altar for him. So if you have a loved one that's passed away, instead of just having all their items all over the place, or because you won't have place to keep all of their items all over the place, then you keep it in a box stored in the storeroom somewhere away, you could just take 3 items, 2 items, 1 item, whatever that speaks the most to you, and keep that on display, or make like an altar for that item, so that you can appreciate that person, appreciate the love and the good memories that you've shared with this person in your lifetime, and appreciate that his memory or her memory still lives on even after the person has passed away. Do comment below if you are finding this video helpful so far, and hit the like button if you can relate with any of these tips. Now let's move on to tip number 3. Remove items that have a negative negative emotion to it. Okay, let me give you an example of that. This one's a bit tough now. This is the one where we feel guilty because we've either spent a lot of money or someone that has given us something, but we don't want to get rid of it because then that person might not appreciate the fact that we've gotten rid of it, or we feel we might be judged for giving that item away. When I started my minimalism journey, I got myself to get rid of a lot of dresses that my mom had bought for me when I got married, and there were a lot of dresses and they were all very expensive dresses. They were traditional Indian dresses that cost a lot of money, and a lot of them she bought because she knew that was my taste, or that was my particular taste, and a lot of them were just bought because they had to be bought. They were the right color for the event. They were, going with the theme and things like that, so those were easy to get rid of. But in particular, there was this black gown dress that was really nice at that time. It was a big hit fashion at that time, but obviously with Indian fashion, the fashion style changes. A lot of the Indian fashions are trendy for like a year or two, and then they just go out of style really quickly. So this was one of those items that went out of style really quickly. But why I felt really guilty giving this away was because, number one, my mom had gotten this dress for me and my favorite color, black. Yes, my favorite color is black. And it had some pink elements in it, which was really pretty. And she had put a lot of thought into getting me this dress. And I had told her not to buy me anything expensive. I did not appreciate expensive stuff. It didn't have to be expensive, but she still got it for me. So that whole memory came back when I obviously saw this dress, which was not in style. And I'm like, well, what do I do with it now, right? So I didn't get rid of it immediately. I kept it. And then so 3 to 4 months after I'd kept that dress, I opened it, and again there was this guilty feeling like I couldn't possibly get rid of this dress because my mom had given it to me. Then it would be like I'm not appreciating her and her hard work. I mean, she's worked hard, she's paid money for this dress, and it's almost like I'm not appreciating her. But I had to get rid of it because of this negative emotion of feeling guilty because of not appreciating my mom. That's a wrong feeling. She's my mother. I appreciate her. I know she loves me, and I know she's not going to judge me for throwing this dress away. And the more that I had this dress lying around, the more guilty I would feel. Every time I look at it, the guilt feeling just comes back. That's a negative emotion that I do not need in my life. I love my mother and my mother loves me, and she's not going to judge me for giving away a dress that she had bought for me. She intended it for me to do whatever I wanted with it. Number 4, digitize items of sentiments. I do this quite often. So why we digitize is because when you digitize something, it will last a longer time. When you don't do it, like the olden days when you only had pictures in albums and you flick through, I've digitized some of them, even though they're not very good, the best of quality, but at least I know I will have them forever, or in my hard drive, my iCloud, or in Google Photos where I can access it and print it out, or just look at it when I want to look at it. My kids do a lot of artwork, as I've probably mentioned in some of my other videos. I cannot possibly keep all of them, so I take photos of some of them that I really like, or sometimes all of them that I really like, and I make like a booklet out of it, and I put a date on it and with the name on it, and so it gives me a timeline of when they've made it. I don't put the exact date that they've drawn that, because sometimes I forget to put the exact date, but at least I have the month and year correct. And it's also really nice when you do it this way, so that you actually can see how the child has developed from drawing scribbles to circles to now drawing shapes and to drawing persons, and how they've evolved over time. And lastly, tip number 5, scrapbooking. Now, I don't really enjoy scrapbooking. Like, it's not something that I would do. I know a lot of YouTubers out there love bullet journaling and scrapbooking. I've tried that, but I think it's just not something that I would like to do for a long time. But for this project, I really enjoyed it. When I went on my honeymoon with my husband, it was the best thing ever. I was really looking forward to going on a honeymoon with my husband, and I watched so many movies of people collecting memorabilia from their honeymoon, and I thought that I'd collect all this memorabilia on my honeymoon, like a chocolate wrapper or things like that, and I'll keep it in a shoebox. So initially that's what I did. I kept it all in a shoebox, and every time I opened the shoebox, it would not be in order. It would just be random memories stacked together, and I wasn't really looking at the shoebox all the time. It was just collecting dust. So it kind of bothered me that this memorabilia that I really want to feel the memories, I want to remember the memories, except that it was in a box up in the cupboard collecting dust, and I wasn't looking at it every time like I thought I would. So now I put the pictures together with the memorabilia, and that's what I did. I collected each of these wrappers and everything like that, and I made it into a scrapbook, and I wrote little things around with just a pen, normal pen, and I put everything together so that I can remember where I collected these things and why and what was the memory associated with it, and I have a scrapbook to remember, and my husband just truly loves it. Every time he flicks through it, he smiles because he's like, you collected this, you collected that, that's really nice, because he's not a collecting type of person. Most men are not really, I think, but that's okay. So at least now he has something to remember by, and he appreciates it, and my kids appreciate it too. All of these items, I have put it on my coffee table, and it becomes a nice topic of conversation while having tea with your guest. I hope you've enjoyed these tips. A journey towards minimalism is a slow one and should really not be rushed, because it's something that would take time to get used to, because minimalism is really a lifestyle. It's not something you want to achieve short term. It is something you want to achieve long term, and it's something that will completely change your life and how you look at things and how you manage time and your productivity, which is why I love minimalism, because it makes you really, really productive and you achieve a whole lot more in life than you did before. With that said, thank you so much for watching till the end, and I would really appreciate it if you join our community and hit the subscribe button down below. Also, there's a bell notification next to it. If you hit that, you will get notified every time I post a video. I post 2 videos a week. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you again this week. Bye.